Welcome to the in-depth series of Drishti IAS. My name is Pooja Dwivedi. Today we are going to discuss the protests that are being conducted by Jains all over India. What is the problem? Why are they protesting? There are two incidents that are related to the protests. We will discuss that. And also we will discuss from the perspective of GS Mains Paper 1 about Jainism. From the perspective of GS Mains Paper 2, constitutional provisions related to it. And of course, from the perspective of GS Mains Paper 1 and prelims again, Sri Samed Shikharji Palitana Temple vandalism and what are the Palitana temples. So without any further ado, let's move ahead and first of all talk about the introduction. The protests that are being conducted by Jains have engulfed the cities of Delhi, Mumbai and Ahmedabad. First reason for protest is the Jharkhand government's recent decision to declare the holy shrine Sri Samed Shikharji in the Girdah district of Jharkhand as an eco-tourist place. That means this is the problem. It is a holy place, not a tourist place. This is not what I am saying. This is what the Jains are saying. Second one is that they are demanding actions against anti-social elements who are allegedly desecrating the sacred Shatrunjay Hills in Gujarat's Bhavnagar district. Okay, these two are the incidents that we are going to discuss. First, let's talk about Sri Samed Shikharji. Now, Sri Samed Shikharji is present in Parasnath Hills in Jharkhand's Giridih district, and it is entitled for being the highest mountain in the state of Jharkhand, and it is revered by both the sects of Jainism, Digambara and Shwetambaras. And here it is said by the legends that 20 out of 24 Jain Tirthankaras along with monks have attained moksha in this place. Who are Tirthankaras? Tirthankaras are those revered human beings, monks, who have practiced and attained Kaivalya and then they preach the tenets of Jainism. Moving ahead, now let's talk about Parasnath Hill. Here is Samed Shikharji Peak, okay, in the Giridih district of Jharkhand. Now, the word Shikharji, it means a venerable peak. And the word Parasnath comes from Parashvanath, who was the 23rd Tirthankara. Now, Shikharji is ranked with Ashtapada, Girnar, Dilwara temples of Mount Abu and Shatrunjay as the Shwetambara Panchatirth or the 5 principal pilgrimage shrines. Okay, so it is a very holy spot, we can say, for Jains. Now here is Mount Shatrunjay. Mount Shatrunjay hosts the Palitana temples. Okay, and here we saw that there was a CCTV footage which emerged that there were certain miscreants who were vandalizing the steps and pole of a temple in Palitana of the Shatrunjay Hills in Gujarat. Okay, so these two incidents, one is in Jharkhand and the other one is in Gujarat. Okay, and here the Jains also say, they allegedly say that there is illegal mining activities going on in here, liquor dens are here, and also unlawful encroachment. Last year, at least 85 rallies were taken out in various parts of Gujarat to protest against the vandalization of Charan Padukas of a Jain saint at the temple, and that was done on 26th November last year. Moving ahead, now Palitana temples, if we talk about, these temples are located in the Shatrunjay by the city of Palitana in Bhavnagar district. Okay, so as you can see, this is Mount Shatrunjay here, and here are the temples. These are the temples. Okay, moving ahead, now if we have to talk about the name, the city of the same name, which was known previously as Padliptapur, has been nicknamed as the city of temples. Okay, and as the temple city was built to be an abode for the divine, nobody is allowed to stay there overnight, even the priests. Alright, and this is one thing that we say about this temple: every Jain once in a lifetime should have to go there to achieve nirvana or salvation. In Jainism we call it Kaivalya. And the site on Shatrunjay Hills is considered sacred by Jains and have hundreds of temples. Approximately, if we have to number them out, There are 863 marble carved temples on the hills. Alright, and I showed you the picture of the temples as well. It is said that 23 Tirthankaras out of 24 have sanctified the hill by their visit. The one who did not sanctify the hill was Neminath. Alright, and the main temple is dedicated to Rishabdev, who is the first Tirthankara of Jainism. It is the holiest shrine for the Shvetambara Murti Pujak sect, and Digambara Jain have only one temple over here. Moving ahead, now if we talk about Jainism, see, when Brahmanism was at its peak, but there was a retaliation from the Kshatriya clan. They wanted to have their own sort of religion, their own sort of not religion but doctrine or preachings which they could relate to more. So comes Jainism. It all started in 6th century BC. And who propagated it the most? The last Tirthankara, the 24th Tirthankara, who was Lord Mahavir. And it consisted of the entire Jainism as a doctrine, as we can say, as a group. It had 24 Tirthankaras, remember. Rishabnath was the first. The word Jain comes from the word Jina or Jaina, that means conqueror in English. Moving ahead, let's talk about Lord Mahavir. Lord Mahavir was born in 540 BC. He was born in Kundagram near Vaishali, and he was born to Nantrika clan. It was connected to the royal family of Magad. The father of Lord Mahavir was Siddhartha, who was of course the leader of the clan, Nantrika clan, and mother was Trishula. Trishula was the sister of Chetak. And tell me in the comment segment, what do you know about Chetak? He left his house, Lord Mahavir left his house when he was 30 years of age because he was not satisfied with the life he was leading. Now he practiced austerity for long 12 years, attained highest spiritual knowledge, that is known as Kaivalya. He conquered misery as well as happiness. So there was a sense of stability, and this was all done in 12 years. That means when he reached 42 years of age, he attained Kaivalya. Now he held his first sermon or delivered his first sermon at Pava. Every Tirthankara has a symbol. With Mahavir we have lion. And his sermon also reached out to Koshila, Magda, Mithila and Champa. He died at the age of 72 in 468 BC, where? In Pavapuri. Remember, that's in Bihar. Now, the biggest or the primary aim of Jainism is to attain liberation. And for attaining liberation, they say, Jainism as a doctrine says that you do not need to conduct any sort of ritual, you do not need a priest, but you can follow the principles of 3 jewels or 3 ratnas. First is you should have right faith, that is Samyak Darshan, right knowledge, Samyak Jnan or Samyak Jnan, and right action or Samyak Charita. Okay, so these are the 3 principles. But there are 5 doctrines of Jainism. That means what you have to practice as an action. Non-injury to living being, that is Ahimsa. Satya, do not speak a lie. Astya, do not steal. Aparigraha, do not acquire property. And Brahmacharya, observe continence. As it is said that these 4 were already propagated by the other Tirthankaras, but the last one was added by Lord Mahavir, the 24th Jain Tirthankara. Now, there are also 2 sects, important sects of Jainism. First is Devagambara and second is Shvetambara. The division of the sects took place due to famine in Magadha, and this famine was 12 years long. So, one group under Bhadrabahu went to South India and they stuck to the strict practices that they conducted. But the group in Magadha, they adopted a more lax attitude and started wearing white clothes, while Digambaras do not wear anything, the male monks. So southern group, when after the famine was done, when they came back to Magadha, they saw that there has been a change in behavior of Shvetambaras. So then, because of the nature of practices both the groups acquired, they divided into 2 sects. Okay. And Digambaras, of course, they they practice complete nudity. Male monks do not wear clothes, but female monks wear unstitched plain white saris. They follow all the 5 vows. Also, they believe women cannot achieve liberation. This is what their thinking is, Digambaras. And it is, of course, the Digambara sect was led by Bhadrabahu. He was an exponent of this sect. There are also major sub-sects under it, such as Mula Sangha, Bisapantha, Tera Pantha, or Tara Pantha or Samajya Pantha. Minor subsects include Gumana Pantha and Tota Pantha. There is the second sect, that is Shvetambara. Shvetambara wear white clothes. They follow only 4 vows except Brahmacharya, that was propounded by Lord Mahavir, and they believe women can achieve liberation. Who was the proponent or exponent, we can say, of this group? Stulbhadra was. Major subsects include Murti Pujaks, Sthanakvasika, and Tera Panthi. Moving ahead, now, why did Jainism spread? First of all, this group, Jainism as a religion, they expanded to include both men and women. So there was equality here. For attaining equality, this particular doctrine spread to a large part. And Jainism did very clearly mark itself out from the Brahmanical religion. So that is why what happened that in western and southern regions where Brahmanism was not too strong, the stronghold wasn't there for Brahmanism, it spread there as well. The great Mauryan king Chandragupta Maurya during his last years became a Jain ascetic and promoted Jainism in Karnataka, and of course due to starvation he died. That was Sanlekhna. Famine in Magda led to the spread of Jainism in South India when Bhadrabahu came with his group of Digambaras and stayed there. And in Odisha, the group of Jains enjoyed the patronage of Kalinga, king of Kharavela. Okay. Now, Jainism is the 6th largest religion in India. According to the 2011 census, there are 94,51,753 Jains, and they reside majorly in Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh, but their influence is much larger. Overall, Jains, both men and women, have fared to be more educated and wealthier among Indians. Okay, so if we have to talk about Jain as a minority, see, the expression minority is not mentioned as in, is not defined. I wouldn't say mentioned, but it is not defined in the constitution, although they appear in some articles. And communities which are notified under section 2 clause C of the National Minorities Commission Act of 1992 by the central government, these are the minorities we are talking about right now. So on October 23rd, 1993, under this section of the National Minorities Commission Act, the central government included Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists and Parsis to be minorities. Jains were the latest. Jains actually are the latest to be a part of the minority group only in 2014. Okay, so it was less than 10 years. Now there are constitutional provisions that are provided for the betterment of the minorities. According to Article 29, read it very carefully. Any section of the citizen, not minority, any section of the citizen residing in any part of India having a distinct language, script or culture of its own shall have the right to conserve the same, and this provides protection to both religious and linguistic minorities. But the Supreme Court says that it is not only restricted to minorities, this section, because of the use of word section of citizens, and that includes minority as well as majority, a very big prelims fact this is. Article 30 says explicitly, all minorities shall have the right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice, and the protection under Article 30 is confined only to the minorities because it does not extend to any section of citizens as according to Article 29. Article 350B is related to linguistic minorities because the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1956, because of the rearrangement of states on the basis of linguism, inserted this article which provides for a special officer for linguistic minorities who is appointed by the President of India. The Jains currently want certain things. The minority community already has handed a letter to the President and the Prime Minister of India first to declare the site by Jharkhand, which has been declared as eco-tourist. The decision has not been implemented as of yet, but to declare Shikharji Peak as a holy site, not a tourist place. It is not a tourist place. So there is a problem with that. And secondly, to take actions against those who have desecrated the temples at Palitana. So these are the two demands. Very simple demands and very well, of course, valid demands are these. The response of the government is that the Jharkhand government says sentiments of the Jain community members will be accepted, saying that the issue will be discussed again before coming to any decision regarding the holy site. Although they say that it is a better decision for the Jain community to increase tourism. But now, if sentiments are involved, they will of course come back with the decision. National Committee on Minorities has written to the Chief Secretary of Jharkhand Administration about denotifying Parisnath Parvatraj Girdi of Jharkhand as an ecotourism center and declaring it as a holy site. The commission will hold a hearing on 17 January 2023 at 3 p.m. So let's see what happens back then. That's it, and thank you so much for watching.